Borivali, one of the famous and affluent suburbs on the Western Line. It gets its name from the fruit called bor in Marathi, which is bear in Hindi and berries in English. From mountains to skyscrapers, from lakes to rivers, from caves to beaches, Borivali has it all. Recently, I had been to Borivali and visited a lot of places. This video is about those places. So let's start. Number 1. Sanjay Gandhi National Park. The history of this park dates back to the 4th century BC when Sopara and Kalyan were two main ports of trade. The land route between these two ports passed through the national park, and hence you have the Kanheri Caves here, as Buddhist caves are usually found nearby ancient trade routes. Initially it was called Krishnagiri National Park, then it was called Borivali National Park, and now it's called Sanjay Gandhi National Park. The entry fee for this park is 72 rupees for an adult. This is a very large park and you can easily spend a day here. There is a lake very near to the entrance where you can do boating, except in the rainy season. You can get into a mini train and go around. I guess it's also closed in the rainy season. Then there is a butterfly garden, orchid park, Gandhi Memorial, treks and trails. You can also do bird watching and stargazing here. There are streams of water where you can have a good time. Tent stays are also available here for people who want to stay overnight. You also get cycles for rent here at a cost of 80 rupees for 2 hours, and every half hour beyond that will be charged 20 rupees. Deposit you have to pay for one cycle is 300 rupees. Then you have the safari, which happens in a bus rather than a jeep, and the cost is less than 100 rupees per person. Last but not the least is the Kanheri Caves. These Buddhist caves are 2000 years old and was predominantly a learning center. There are more than 100 caves carved in a single hill. The name Kanheri comes from the word Krishnagiri or Kanhagiri in ancient transcriptions, which basically means black mountain. These caves are famous for its rainwater harvesting system, which is still functional. You can clearly see it. If you really want to see the caves, I would recommend going with a guide or a person who has good knowledge about it, or else it will just be another picnic spot for you. We went to Kanheri Caves on cycles, the rent for which I have already mentioned. Cycles are convenient as you can go anywhere you want in the park except the restricted areas. But one thing that you have to keep in mind is that the cycles are single gear and hence it's not that easy to ride them around. The road is not entirely flat and has ascents and descents. Some 500 meters before the caves, the road becomes steep and you will have to walk with the cycle till the top. On the way back, we visited the Teenmurti Digambar Jain Mandir, which is on the outskirts of the park but very close to the road which you will be on while coming back. It's a temple for the Digambar Jains, and the highlight is the 3 tall statues that you will see here. The statues are of Lord Adinath, which is at the center, and Lord Bahubali and Bharata, the two sons of Adinath, to the sides. The center statue is 31 feet high and the other two are 28 feet each. The main entrance is through the national park, and the 51 feet high Kirti Sthamb is the first thing you will notice. On the way to the entry gate of the park, we saw some deers munching on grass at close proximity, maybe at a distance of 10 feet from us. At one point I thought this was somebody's pet, as it was not at all bothered by our presence there. After giving back our cycles, we headed to Dharma Sandwich as we were literally starving. Started in 2005 as a thela, Dharma Sandwich now has 8 outlets between Vilepalli and Bhayandar. There are a lot of items on the menu and everything is vegetarian. I tried the Dharma special grill sandwich here and I have to say it was absolutely tasty and a little different from the normal sandwiches we get outside. We finished it within no time. Next stop was Mandapeshwar Caves. These 1500-year-old Hindu caves have seen through time. It was badly affected during the Portuguese rule. They used to call it Mount Pesar, which then became Mount Poinsar. The Portuguese also built a church on the hill called Our Lady of Piety, which was later renamed as Our Lady of Immaculate Conception. The church was, however, destroyed by the Marathas when they defeated the Portuguese in 1739. The ruins of the church is still visible just above the caves. Next to the ruins, a new church was built in 1888, which is the current Our Lady of Immaculate Conception Church in IC Colony. IC is the short form for Immaculate Conception. During the Portuguese period, along with the church, there was also a monastery that was built for the fathers and brothers, which again was destroyed but rebuilt in 1888. It's called the St. Francis Church or St. Francis Chapel. which even today is only for the fathers and brothers. This lies in the compound of the St. Francis School. We then headed towards Gorai, and on the way we visited the Swayambhu Siddhivinayak Mandir at Vazira Naka. Vazira itself is a historic place and the temple is quite famous here. To the right side of the temple you can see the Swayambhu Siddhivinayak. Besides the temple there is a small lake where you can see tortoise, fishes and geese. The geese are pretty cool. You also have the famous Don Bosco Church and School in Vazira. Opposite Don Bosco there's a tea shop and snack center called the Gupta Tea and Cold Drink House. Here you get good samosas, so if you're passing by this area you can have a quick snack stop. Also in Vazira on the Gorai road you have the MHB ground, which is officially called as General Arun Kumar Vaidya ground. It's a big ground with grass and a pathway that goes around the ground, good for jogging. This is where Indian cricketers Rohit Sharma, Shardul Thakur and Poonam Raut used to play cricket. We finally reached the Gorai jetty, from where you have to take the boat to go to SL World, Water Kingdom, Vipassana Pagoda, Gorai Beach and other places. When I say boat, is actually a vessel which can easily accommodate 20-30 bikes and maybe 100 people. The boat ride takes around 5 minutes and it's quite comfortable. After reaching on the other side, you need to cover another 4 kilometers to reach the Gorai Gaon. On the way, you get a junction where if you take a left, you can go to the Pagoda and Water Kingdom. We took the left to visit the Vipassana Pagoda, which is mind-blowingly beautiful. It's basically a huge meditation center. This pagoda is a replica of the Shwedagon Pagoda in Myanmar and has the genuine relics of the Buddha enshrined here. It's 325 feet high, that's equivalent to a 30-story building, and contains the biggest pillarless stone dome on earth, under which up to 8,000 people can sit. 11 years is how long it took to build this wonder. We then headed towards Gorai Gaon, where we plan to visit the Holy Magi Church, which is a 212 years old church. The original church was built in 1595, a kilometer away from here, which was badly damaged in the Battle of Bassin. The current church was built in 1810 and is mentioned right in the front of the church building. It's a beautiful church and gives a vibe of old Goa. 500 meters from here, you have the Sacred Heart Church in Kulvem, which is also very old and was built in 1859. The whole village of Gorai is beautiful and I would definitely recommend cycling here or at least walking. If you're coming to the beach next time, which I know a lot of people do, then do visit this quaint and beautiful village. It feels like a little Goa. We then proceeded to Gorai Beach, one of the famous attractions of Borivali, but since it was high tide, we couldn't get on the beach as it was all covered by water. So we went a little ahead, approximately 3 kilometers, and entered the beach through Sun Beach Resort. So, Sun Beach Resort is a chill place to hang out with the elevated decks where you can eat, drink and enjoy the views. This place can be a good spot for small groups. The beach this side has rocks and is not that clean, but the views are amazing. We didn't wait for the tide to settle and left. On the way, we saw 2 people cycling and it was very tempting. You should definitely come here and cycle if you live in Borivali. That's the boat I was talking about. It's pretty big. The cost of traveling in the boat is 10 rupees one way. After getting down at the Borivali side, when you come out to the road, there's a nice Frankie place called Panda Roll Center. The signboard outside reads Gori Roll Center, but that's the shop I'm talking about. I really love the Frankie here. First of all, the quantity is huge and the taste is also good. Even half a roll will fill you. So, the next time if you're coming from Gorai and feel hungry, try this place out. Right next to the Frankie place, there is the entry to the Bayview, inside which you have one of the largest pool parlour that I have ever seen. I guess there must be at least 20 tables. There's also an AC section here if you want less crowd. It's actually a happening place and the locals will know best. Next place on the list was Savarkar Garden, officially called Swatantra Veer Savarkar Udyan. This again is a famous garden in Borivali with children's play area, jogging path, benches in form of swings where adults can sit, a lake with fishes and tortoise, good grass patches and trees. In the evening, this place becomes a haven for senior citizens. If you come here after 6, you will definitely witness the karaoke that happens here. They also have a club for indoor games. For senior citizens, they even have memberships. For others, the ticket rate is 2 rupees per person and 5 rupees between 12 pm to 4 pm for obvious reasons. Next spot was the famous Vada Pav Center of Borivali, Mangesh Tasty Vada Pav Center. There are 2 types of samosas here and both are good. I didn't try the Vada Pav, but I'm sure it has to be good given the crowd here. Apart from the food, what attracted me more is the security guard over here. Yes, the Vada Pav Thela has a uniformed security guard who mainly aids in parking. My last stop in Borivali was Ghanta Wala Pan Mandir, a pan shop which has found its place in the Guinness Book of World Records. Yes, that's unbelievably true. The world record is for the vast collection of bells they have in this shop, which is quite visible. Apart from those bells, there's one big bell in the center which they ring while giving you the pan and also when you pay them. So that was my day in Borivali. I have just covered the places that I've visited and hence I know there are some places that are left out. Mention those places in the comments section so that others know about it. If you are from Borivali, then do share the video and make it viral. Yeah, and also do not forget to subscribe. See you in some other video. Bye.